Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about Metagross. Oh gosh, get my mouse out. Okay, yeah, Metagross. Now, there's a couple things that make Metagross actually pretty good. Metagross is just renowned for being tanky and having a lot of HP. That's no exception with the new Metagross. The 250 HP is very hard to get over, as we know from Incineroar's ability just to be this 250 HP tank. The thing Metagross does have going for it that's a little bit better than Incineroar is the fact that it has a supplemental line that does a lot of similar things, and then B, a better attack. 150 a turn is much better. Plus, like I said, the supplemental line of having these other Metagross in the deck kind of make it work. They do work in tandem with each other. Of course, your main one is going to be that Metagross GX, the new one that does 150 damage and accelerates a metal energy. Algorithm isn't super busted. It's more broken in standard to search out 5, but like in U150, searching out 5 is good, but it's not as busted just because like we have stuff like Computer Search and Dowsing Machine, I'm Finder, that sort of thing. So good card nevertheless. The other ones that we're going to play this other Metagross here from Deoxys, and it also has super connectivity. It's called super connectivity. This is called Geotech System. But it also accelerates a metal energy. It does do 10 damage when you accelerate it, so like, you know, I guess that could matter at some points, but it really doesn't. So you have two ways to accelerate. Link Blast is an okay attack, 70 damage, yeah, whatever. Like really just using for its acceleration. You're gonna have this Metagross from Ancient Origins, Magnetic Warps, which it's a free escape rope just whenever you want. So you can just say, hey, Magnetic Warp, that's an escape rope. Plus Iron Cannon, 160 damage, and just cut all the metals. So, Giga Hammer has this the effect 150 and then you can't use it the next turn. Well, with Magnetic Warp, you can switch it to your bench and then retreat, and it resets that condition. So that's why you're able to do 150 over and over again, because you have this Magnetic Warp. And then we're also going to have this Metagross, also from Ancient Origins. It's got an attack called Guard Press 80 and reduces by 20. So if you have a Pokemon, your opponent has a Pokemon that just doesn't deal a lot of damage over and over again, like it can't hit those high 150, 250, you don't have to go for the GX. You can just Guard Press over and over again with like a Hard Charm and some Steel Energies on, or some Special Metals, sorry, and you're going to be reducing by like 40, 50 a turn. It's going to be very hard for them to actually knock that out. So we do play all 4 here. It is going to be a thick 4-4-4 line. Generally, when you have 4 stage 2s, you're going to play a thicker line. There's kind of no reason not to. There are better Beldums you can play. This is just the Beldum that we had, and I couldn't find our other Beldum. So, but there are other Beldums that just like do something similar to Metal Chain, like when you attach a metal, you search deck for more metal Pokemon or something. So there are better Beldums. There are probably better Metagrosses as well. But yeah, 4-4-4 line for you. We're also going to play some other supporting Pokemon here. You're going to play, you're going to play one other Cobalion. This card is very good in U150 because you have 8 prizes. Revenge Blast is going to start doing a whole bunch of damage starting at like prize 3 or 4, which is the mid game, not the late game. So in standard 3 and 4 is late game. In here it's already mid game 3 or 4, and it's already starting one shot. And then we're also going to play the Promo Nagirna. What is it? Prismatic Wave. Actually can rack up some damage. You know, there's stuff like Spiritomb, Uxie, Lapras, Porygon, Claydol that are in every deck, and those are all 5 different types. So if those are different types, plus like their main attackers are different types, for 1 energy, this can actually rack up damage pretty quickly. 80, 100 damage. I like it in most metal decks just as a one-of. Can deal some cheap one-shots on some other bench sitters. So those are your 2 support Pokemon. And then your support, the standard 10, you're going to have them all here. There's really no reason not to play any of these. These are in almost every deck that I build. So no exception here. You don't need the Porygon 2 because you're going to one-shot most of the time. The things that you won't one-shot are like Megas and GXs, but they can't. As long as they can't one-shot you back, you'll trade better with them because of Max Potion and accelerating those metal energies and like Steel Energy and that sort of thing. So, moving on to supporters, you're going to see some standard stuff here, nothing too out of the norm. For searching cards, we have Skyla, Wally, Karina, Bebes, Collector, and Rosies. All standard looking stuff so far. Draw supporters, you're going to have Rockets, Admin, and N, Copycat, and Pulvis, Juniper, and Sycamore. And then over here, we're going to have Professor Oak's New Theory and Sage's Training to round out the draw supporters. Switching supporters, you're going to see Guzma, Lysander, AZ. Nothing too weird there. We're going to play Mallow and Teammates and Twins in this deck. It does take a lot of energy to attack with this deck. Even with the energy acceleration, you can fall behind early, so that's why we have Twins in here. Recovery, we have Trump Card and Marley's. And then for other effects, we're going to have Hexmaniac. And then we're also going to have actually Pokemon Ranger, and that is for so that you can use Giga Hammer again the turn that they either Hex or Goop you, and this stays alive. You can just play Ranger and go again, so you don't have to worry about Magnetic Warp or finding an escape rope. Usually that's like the case, like if you get Gooped or Hexed, you have to do that, but Ranger kind of satisfies that condition. And it's also kind of nice to play a surprise Ranger. Ranger isn't teched into too many decks, but it will be good for those things that are either item locking you, or they have some sort of effect that's going to stop you from doing something by attacking. So Ranger kind of helps in weird scenarios, so you never know. Item searching cards: Ultra Ball, Level Ball, Computer Search, Super Teleporter, Pokemon Communication, Evo Soda, Luxury Ball, and then we're actually going to play one more here. Those 7 right there are fairly standard. We're also going to play a Heavy Ball because most all of your stuff, Metagrosses are fat, and they're most all 3 retreat. Let's see, let's take a quick look at the 3 retreaters here. I think literally every Metagross is 3 or more retreat. There's a Metang that's 3 retreat. Oh, that Metagross is actually only 2, so you're not going to find that one out. So there's 2 Metangs and 3 Metagrosses that are Heavy Ball searchable. And you probably could even find a Beldum that's 3. I don't know if there's one. Don't quote me on that, but you probably could add a few more 3 Retreaters if you're looking. But Heavy Ball does search out most of your Metagrosses. Recovery, we're going to play Retriever and Super Rod. Those are pretty good there. You could argue to play Retriever and Stretcher because your energy is going to be accelerated anyways due to abilities, stuff like the Metagross GX and stuff. That you don't really need the energies back, so you could argue that there. But I kind of like Super... Actually, yeah, no, you could argue that it should just be Retriever and Stretcher. Palpad Versus Seeker, Junk Arm, and Item Finder. All standard there. Drawing cards, keeping it standard: Misty's Wrath, Oak, and Bill. Switching cards, you're only going to see Escape Rope and Scoop Up, and then you could argue that a Switch should also go here, like a Switch and a Warp Point. For those times, like I said, when you get hexed and you need to get out of that active so you can reuse Giga Hammer, and because everything has such a big retreat cost, so I wouldn't mind seeing a Switch or even like the second Escape Rope in the form of Warp Point. And then other cards here, we're going to have Breeder and Rare Candy, obviously, because you're playing a Stage 2 deck. Windstorm, Battle Compressor to help get those mental energies into the discard pile, and Posture Expansion. And then, as I mentioned, Max Potion to keep that big 250 Giga Hammer going. You can Max Potion it, and then you use its ability. I can never remember it. Geotech System. You can use that plus the Psychic one, which is Super Connectivity. Use both of those, and then attach in hand, so you can just keep that attack going after you Max Potion. So usually Max Potion wouldn't make sense in a deck that has a lot of energy attachments, but this one does because you have so much acceleration from the discard pile. So you're fine to get away with it. Stadium cards is really going to be 2. You're going to have Skyfield here, just because you could have bench issues because you're playing so many Stage 2s. Skyfield just kind of helps with that regard. And then Broken Time Space, because you're playing an Evolution deck, kind of just makes sense. You could play something like a Steel Shelter if you really wanted to in here. I don't know if it's necessary because you have the Magnetic Warp Metagross that does switch them out, so don't know if that's entirely necessary. Tool cards here, we're going to play both Fluffy and Float. Like I said, Super Connectivity plus these are going to be really key, so you're going to need both of them. We're also going to play an Expert Belt because it's, throw that on that 250 HP GX, and it's really hard to knock out anyways. As long as you're not one-shotting 250, they're never going to get in one-shot range, so Expert Belt just kind of helps that a little bit more. Muscle Band to boost your damage, and then Hard Charm because, like I said on that other one, where you can attach a couple special metal energies and a Hard Charm and then attack to reduce by 20, it becomes just this big tank of a thing that's dealing 80 a turn. You're going to play all four Elite Fours plus Dowsing Machine. No reason not to play any of these, and then Dowsing Machine, your best ace spec option. And then for energies, to round it out, we're going to play Double Colors because most of your attacks on the other Metagrosses are DCE reliant, so you have that. 2 of the special metals, you're going to have Shield and Special Metal. Kind of get away with the same effect because when they reprinted Shield, it was essentially the same effect as Special Metal, so you can get away with playing 2 of them there. And then 3, 6, 9, 11 metals, and then that 1 Psychic energy. You can accelerate Psychic with the Super Connectivity. right here. So you use that Psychic if you ever need to Link Blast. It's not the best attack, like I said, but it is 70 damage. And so that will knock out stuff like Porygons and Uxies and Spiritrums and stuff. So if you ever need to attack with it, you can, just because of the one Psychic. If you did want to attack some other Psychic types into this deck, you definitely could because of this. So you could drop 1 or 2 here for some extra metal or some extra Psychic energies and play Psychic attackers if you needed to. It's just kind of an option. I like having the consistency of mostly just metal Pokemon. In Standard, you need the Psychic Pokemon to deal with stuff like Garbodor and Espeon and that sort of thing. Whereas in this format, it's kind of like if you're against fire, you're kind of screwed anyways. There's nothing you can really do. I mean, there are options, but not overly. Like, Psychic Pokemon aren't going to save that matchup, so that's why I prefer just to keep as many metals as possible. And the one Psychic, if it gets good in the discard pile, it can get Super Connectivity back, and it can actually get Geotech Systems back. That also can accelerate Psychic energies. So that does it for Metagross. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, I hope you guys have a good day.